Come we now out of the darkness of our unknowing and the dusk of our dreaming. Come we now from far places. Come we now into the twilight of our awakening and reflection of our gathering. Come we now, all together. We bring unilluminated our dark caves of doubting. We seek, unbedazzled, the clear light of understanding. May the sparks of our joining kindle our resolve, brighten our spirits, reflect our love, and unshadow our days. Come we now enter the dawning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I'm grateful for your presence here, and I'm grateful for you, however it is or whatever it is that you need in this space, whether it's joy and celebration, tears and repose, words of wisdom, connection with one another, or just simply a place to rest with the divine. I hope you'll find it, and I know that you'll find a warm community. Our mixing table for our audio system was stolen last week, so we have purchased a new one, slightly modeled up from what we had before. One of those sort of challenges that presents an opportunity for us. So we're this is the first day sort of testing it out. So my apologies if there's any issues with the audio going online. Hopefully the loop system's working all right. We've had to disable the speaker system in the chapel though because of a loud buzzing noise. Which actually it's there sort of very often. I think Aaron's testifying to that before. So all of these things will, of course, eventually work out in due course. We lit our chalice with those words of Annie Forster. We turn now to some wonderful words that have been with me a long time from the children's poet Shel Silverstein. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. Let us sing our first hymn, Alicia Carpenter's Here We Have Gathered, in the Purple Book, number 62.
Circle
Let us join together into a time of prayer. Today we show gratitude and thanks for all we encounter in life, for those celebrations that lift our spirits, that calm the tempest, those moments of healthy soil that gives birth to dreams and makes physical the ideal. We are grateful for these moments as they generously love us when we feel unloved. May these moments be the bounty to get us through the droughts. For those sorrows that have challenged us, may we find a way to be thankful, that even in adversity we may find calmness, that moments of pain and difficulty may become times of strength and appreciation. Guide us towards this greater thankfulness that enriches our lives, that builds compassion and character, that creates miracles, that truly brings us present to those moments of joy. Amen. And let us recite together our covenant, which you'll find printed in your order of worship. We gather here in sacred fellowship to witness the fullness of our lives and all life, to hold and be held, tell stories and listen, to be renewed and renew the world. We speak with care and patience. We act with gentleness and compassion. We forgive each other and ourselves. In faith that we build beloved community, we renew our covenant today. Our story today is by the singer and actor Cynthia Erivo. It's entitled Remember to Dream a Beret. When it was time to go to sleep, a beret's mother always kissed her on the cheek and said, "Remember to dream, my love." And when it was time to go to sleep, a beret usually had a hard time staying asleep. She often crept out of bed and went looking for her mother. "Mommy," she said one night, "I had the most amazing dream. I dreamed of a rocket ship." "Oh my, how big was this rocket ship?" "I don't know," said the beret. "We'd better go back and dream some more." And she did. "Mummy, the rocket ship is as big as 2 houses," a beret exclaimed. "That's wonderful. And what color is the rocket ship?" "I don't know," said a beret. "Go back and dream, my love." And she did. "Mommy, the rocket ship, it's as big as 2 houses and as red as a fire engine." "That sounds wonderful. Does the rocket ship have a name?" "I don't know," said a beret. "Go back and dream some more, my love, and dream it in the biggest letters ever." And she did. The rocket ship is as big as 2 houses and as red as a fire engine, and it's called the Light Chaser. That is a beautiful name, my love. It would be a shame for such a beautifully named rocket ship to have no captain. Who is the captain of this ship?" "I don't know, Mummy. I'd better go dream some more." Great idea. "Mummy, I dreamed again, and guess what? I am the captain of the ship. I can go anywhere in the universe. My love, You are the captain of your dreams, and I want you to have as many dreams as you can. Just remember to always dream them as big as 2 houses, as bright as fire engine red, and as bold as the name the Light Chaser. Remember to dream a berry. By Cynthia Erivo. So you have a chance now to share your joys and sorrows, your trials and triumphs, your hopes and dreams. If you wish to light a candle and say a few words, please come to the microphone so those using the loop system, those who are online will be able to hear you. If you are online, please type into the chat box and we will read it out. You can, of course, light a candle in silence if you so wish. And as always, if you wish to remain seated, know that your presence here is enough. Nothing more is asked of you at this time. So today we mark Father's Day, and I'd like to light a candle for my father, who has always been sort of quite I was going to say calm influence in my life, and very inspirational. We have a lot in common, I think, both in our personalities and our interests, and I'm just grateful for that. So for my father and for all those father figures in our lives.
I guess Cody felt that he couldn't light a candle for himself, but I'm lighting this candle for Cody as father.
For those joys and sorrows here spoken, and those that remain silently in our hearts. We come now to our next hymn in the Purple Book, number 152, Richard and Joyce Gilbert's Thanks Be for These, hymn number 152. Our reading today is entitled it's called Cathedral of the World by Forest Church. Like the Shell of Silverstein, it's a reading that's been with me a long time. Those who might forget how much of my story, my history sort of is known by people, but I was raised as a UU in the States Unitarian Universalists. My parents, we stopped attending the church from the time I was about 10 or 12 or so. And then a few years later, I happened to come back to the church at the behest of my piano teacher when she needed a Sunday off, and I would play the music for the service. And that was really when it became a sort of very transformative experience for me, when I felt sort of this sense of a call to ministry. And I delved into some of the literature that was available, and this is one of the readings that I had read at that period. So this is from Cathedral of the World. Imagine awakening one morning from a deep and dreamless sleep to find yourself in the nave of a vast cathedral. The cathedral is as ancient as humankind. Its cornerstone, the first altar, marked with a tincture of blood and stained with tears. Search for a lifetime, which is all you are surely given, and you shall never know its limits. Visit all its apses, worship at its myriad shrines, nor span its celestial ceiling with your gaze. The builders have worked from time immemorial, destroying and creating, confounding and perfecting, tearing down and raising up arches in this cathedral, buttresses and chapels, organs and theaters, chancels and transepts, gargoyles, idols, and icons. Not a moment passes without work being begun that shall not be finished in the lifetime of the architects who planned it, the patrons who paid for it, the builders who construct it, or the expectant worshippers. And not a moment passes without the dreams of long-dead dreamers being outstripped, shattered, or abandoned, giving way to new visions, each immortal in reach, ephemeral in grasp. Welcome to the cathedral of the world. In the cathedral of the world there are windows without number, some long forgotten, covered with many patinas of dust, others revered by millions, the most sacred of shrines. Each in its own way is beautiful. Some are abstract, others representational. Some dark and meditative, others bright and dazzling. Each tells a story about the creation of the world, the meaning of history, the purpose of life, the nature of humankind, the mystery of death. The windows of the cathedral are where the light shines in. Forest Church's Cathedral of the World. Let us return to a time of prayer. These words of Kendall Gibbons. Let us hold lovingly in our thoughts all the people of the earth, those who are consumed by mutual hatred and bitterness, those who make bloody war upon their neighbors, those who oppress their siblings with any form of tyranny, and all those who suffer in subjugation, cruelty, and injustice. Let us recognize our solidarity with all the outcast, with the downtrodden, the abused, the deprived, and our common humanity with all who bear the responsibilities of leadership and power. Let us remember humanity's ancient and universal dream of peace, that we live together in harmony, no one exploiting the weak, no one hating the strong, each of us working out our own destiny, self-respecting and unafraid. May we seek to be worthy of freedom, free from institutional wrong, free from individual oppressions and contempt, pure of heart and hand, despising none, defrauding none, giving to all people in all encounters of life the honor due to those who, like us, are children of earth's great love. Amen. So let us enter into a period of silence for reflection, meditation,
contemplation, and personal prayer. Our next hymn is printed in your order of worship. Caroline Winfrey Gillette's We Just Talk of Thoughts and Prayers. And I realized we haven't, do you have a copy of it? You have one? Yeah. Excellent. Great. Okay. It's a well-known tune, Oh Wally Wally. And if you're unfamiliar with it, you should pick it up soon. But when you play through it, then completely once. Thank you. Thank you. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Harlem by Langston Hughes. Dreams are wild, aren't they? Some of them, often ones I find that evoke deep thought and emotion, that challenge and perplex me, or perhaps bring to mind some beauty or horror unbeknownst to my conscious mind, evaporate within minutes of waking up. I used to try and capture them in a dream journal. I would scramble to write them down in as much detail as I could, but I also thought, and this was based on experience, that the more awake that I became, the more the details and memories would slip away into the ether, becoming vague recollections, fuzzy emotions, a hazy sense, before finally disappearing into memory and eventually becoming simply forgotten. So I would try to keep myself asleep, but also scribble down as much as possible in the dark. And then in the morning, when I was a bit more lucid, I would retrieve my notebook and try to read what I'd written, but finding that my scrawling was often illegible, and those who've seen my handwriting know that it's not good at the best of times when I put in some effort. And what I could read rarely made much of any sense. That's certainly my experience for most dreams that I have. I know some people can recall their dreams quite easily. Some can even participate in the dreams in this sort of form of lucid dreaming. Others, not at all. They have great difficulty. I remember a colleague and friend sort of being quite open about this, that he has no memory whatsoever of dreaming or of any of those dreams. So I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I know that I have them, and if I'm quick enough, I can recollect them. Some dreams, of course, shake us to our core, and we may never forget them. They might even play some role in our future, either as a mark of their prescience or our consideration of them as perhaps unlocking the wisdom of our unconscious mind. Sometimes their message is clear, but at other times it might require some teasing out or exploring. I sometimes think that they're not even presenting a solution. They're just throwing up the various points of consideration in our mind. They might help give voice to something within ourselves for which we haven't had the words. Ambitions, hopes, fears, an understanding of our identity and desires. Cynthia Erivo knows the power of dreaming. She's passionate about telling children not only to dream, but to dream big. Her story about a little girl having difficulty staying asleep embodies this. Every time a berry comes through and shares some detail about her dream, her mother inquires just a little bit further, just beyond what she had sort of recalled. More details. How tall is the rocket? What color is it? What is its name? This is, and I'd say as a parent, quite a clever way of getting your child back into bed. Oh, tell me, but if you can't remember, you better go back and dream some more. I think I'm going to keep that tactic in mind. But it's more than that. The clearer a berry can see her dream, the more she can play in it and think about it and make it a reality in some way. And you hear this at the very end when she declares that she's the captain and she can ride this spaceship around the universe. The video that I watched of Cynthia reading her story concluded with this sort of additional comment that she made. You whose imagination deserves to fly and soar. You who should be taught to dream dreams bigger than you can contain. This little book is to celebrate you. I wrote it for you, so that when someone tells you to think a little smaller, tells you to be quiet, to be less bold, to fit in, you come back here to this little book and my words, and remember to dream big, big gargantuan dreams in the brightest colors. Because without you and your big dreams, this world would cry. We need you because you are special. So Cynthia Erivo's message in this book is much more than just a little girl having difficulty getting back to sleep. It is about the profound nature of ourselves and the world that we live in that tells us to be smaller, but for which our dreams assure us, no, we must take up as much space as we are allotted, as we deserve. Our dreams may not just be some fantasy, though, about our lives. They may not even be centered on ourselves personally. And, of course, they're not even restricted to bedtime. Our hopes and yearnings, both private and communal, are sometimes called dreams. And this can sometimes make them appear inaccessible. Why else would it be considered an insult to respond, yeah, in your dreams, when someone shares their hopes and ambitions? It may not even be individual success that we are dreaming about. We may dream of a fairer world. We may dream of people being themselves in all their complexity and diversity in the world. We may dream of people being treated equally, receiving fair wages for their work, being able to live without harassment. We may dream of a world that is more compassionate. These dreams shouldn't be left to our unconscious. We must bring them out into the world. In a minute, we'll be singing our final hymn, I Dream of a Church, where we reflect on all those hopes that we want our church to be. A church that is glad of her world, a church that cries for the hostile, the cold, and no hoping. A church that bends to embrace the unlovely and the lost. We'll be singing that soon, and I love it, and I believe in it. But the hymn we just sang carries an equally important message. We must not simply talk of thoughts and prayers, or sing of doing good, or dream of what could be. We must take those steps to create it. We must build community. We must walk alongside our neighbors to live a daring faith. So we must not only have the dream, but we must have the resolve to work towards it. Because if we don't do that, well, then it becomes a deferred dream, a dream deferred. And what happens to a dream deferred? Langston Hughes thought deeply about his neighbors in Harlem who had been oppressed and suffered. They had seen their dreams. Some were just as simple as being able to live with a little dignity, seeing them crushed under the weight of society and political pressure. They were not just the dreams of individuals, but the dreams of a whole people. At the same time, the poem speaks to today's message. It appears in Hughes's collection, Montage of a Dream Deferred, and it opens the section specifically called Lenox Avenue Mural. Lenox Avenue was at the heart of the Harlem Renaissance in the 1930s that saw the work and contribution of black communities, along with other marginalized immigrant groups, celebrating their culture. It was a point of pride. They were working so the dream wouldn't have to be deferred any longer. Because as we know, when people's hopes are beaten down, when they are told in your dreams for so long, when they are denied their basic human rights, well, they might then dry up like a raisin. They might fester, they might move away. They might even believe their dreams aren't meant to become true, instead having some sweet but unhealthy character. And they might become despondent, and they might explode. We heard from Forest Church to remind us of the enormity of our faith, that it has been built alongside the world religions since the dawn of consciousness. And as co-creators in this world, we must identify those values of peace and compassion that are missing from the world and help bring them into being. However our chapel looks, may we be able to say that we did our part in the day that others may dream and live closer to their dreams than would be possible otherwise. Amen. A few notices, which are printed on the back of your order of worship. Next week is the chapel's anniversary service. Please do join us if you're able. There isn't, I think we might have a cake, but it's not a shared meal or anything along those lines. But we are actually, because we've had a number of new members over the past couple years. We used to do, when someone became a member, sort of a regular ad hoc service. There was only a couple minutes sort of within the service that we would introduce the person. They would get a pin. Usually they'd get a handshake from the chair or vice chair, and they'd have a chance to share themselves, to maybe give a reading that they really like, or to speak about themselves. This has fallen out of use for a while, so we've built up a list of people who have become members but not actually had membership ceremony. So a number of them will hopefully be able to participate in sort of a mass ceremony next week, where they'll have an opportunity to receive pins and recognize the contribution that they give to the chapel and what the chapel means to them. So that's next week, the 22nd, and then the Friday after that is our lunchtime recital at 1 p.m. featuring the Luna Piano Duo. Please do join us for that. Our recitals are free, but we are grateful for any contributions that go to the artists to recognize their time, talent, and energy. I'm afraid I don't have the figure here in front of me. Pamela had asked me to announce that we have received, I think it was about 950 pounds in gift aid for last year. This is a wonderful sort of opportunity for if people are taxpayers here and contribute financially to the chapel. please do consider giving it via gift aid, because we're able to claim back a significant amount, and it doesn't affect the giver financially. It's really helpful. It's really sort of a helpful and wonderful scheme, and I'm really glad that it's been sorted out and that we're sort of being able to continue with our mission for that. Are there any announcements or notices from the congregation? Thank you, Vicky. Yeah. Are there any announcements or notices from the congregation? Do we have anyone to help with tea and coffee today? Thank you, Richard. Let us then sing our final hymn, number 68, Kate Compston's I Dream of a Church, hymn number 68. Thank you, Aaron, for that fantastic music. Thank you, William, for the IT. Thank you, Richard, for the tea and coffee. And thank you to Sonia for helping to set up for the flowers and for greeting. And thank you to everyone for creating and sharing worship today. We close with these words of Vincent van Gogh. The dreamer sometimes falls into the doldrums, but is said to emerge from them again. And the absent-minded person also makes up for it with bouts of perspicacity. Someone who's been wandering about for a long time, tossed to and fro on a stormy sea, will in the end reach their destination. Amen.